Hey, what's going on, everybody? And boy, do I have a treat for you guys today. Today, we are checking out an early release mod. So, this is not actually a fully complete project, but rather one that is available in early access right now. And that's going to be the new Vegas Machine Gun by JK Ruse 05, a mod that people have been asking for so long. Something that will bring back the classic machine gun from Fallout New Vegas. And this mod's going to do exactly that. Now, a couple of disclaimers. Again, this is early release, so everything that I'm going to show today is subject to change, and this is not going to be every single thing in the mod. When it comes out in full release, there will be even more attachments and features than there are existing currently. Now, as for the stuff that's already included in this mod, my guess is most of it is here to stay, as it is all pretty much complete and looks amazing. As for right now, I cannot speak to leveledless integration and how it's going to be applied to the game like that, because this is an early release version, so right now you have to spawn it in via the console, but at the very least we can talk about what is actually in this mod. Of course, you're going to get the New Vegas machine gun. In order for it to be animated correctly, though, you are going to need to download the Hitman's Right-Handed Nuka World AK mod for it to have the proper animations. If you use the left-handed AK, it still works, but it's just not going to have the charging handle lined up correctly. In its current state, the machine gun does have a ton of parts over at the weapons workbench, some of which are going to be very familiar and are going to remind you of the classic New Vegas MG, while some of them are completely new and custom and help to bring some new life to this weapon with Fallout 4's weapon modification system. Honestly, I just cannot wait for the actual public release, as I think this is going to be a perfect replacer for that vanilla assault rifle. I know that we had my MG69 to try to do that, but this does it so much better, as it can fill the role of an assault rifle or machine gun if you so please, as it does have some modifications that help to make it a bit lighter with smaller magazines, and it is chambered in 5.56, so this is definitely a great alternative to that god-awful vanilla AR. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in game and talk about what you're going to be getting with this early release and how to actually use it. So here we have a pretty customized version of the machine gun, with me trying to get it as close to the New Vegas style as possible, and I think it looks amazing. This is such a good, faithful recreation of the weapon. Now, as for this early release, like I said, there is no leveled list, so you're going to have to add it in via the console. So, for those of you who are on PC and you want to try this mod out, I do actually have a link to the early release in the description down below. Once downloaded, you're going to hop into your console commands and type in the command help space machine space 4 space wep. That's going to be WEAP as in weapon. And once you enter that, you're going to enter the code for the light machine gun, as that is the name of this weapon in the game, the light machine gun. Now, in terms of stats and everything, this is not going to be a good representation of the weapon, as this is highly customized. So let's grab the most basic version of the machine gun, which is going to be this here, our short automatic light machine gun. And as you can see, it looks a bit different from what we are used to. These are going to be the basic parts for this weapon, including some junk stock parts, as well as a smaller magazine, a short barrel, and lack of muzzle device. But even still, this looks super cool, and honestly better than anything Bethesda put in the vanilla game. This is the kind of stuff I think most of us were looking for. Now then, with a very basic version of this weapon, it's going to have a base damage of 20. It is always in fully automatic with a fire rate of 113, uses 5.56 rounds, has a range of 107, an accuracy of 71, a weight of a whopping 18.9 pounds, and a value of 189 caps. But just look at this thing. I gotta say, I love the junk stuff. JK Ruse has included parts like this in his other mods like the Rangemaster, and I really just enjoy the aesthetic that it brings to the Fallout weapons. Now then, let's talk animations. As I said earlier, you are going to have to download that right-handed AK mod by Hitman, but once you do, you get some really nice animations for this mod. As you can see, they fit very well, and this thing has a nice picture in first person. It does take up a good bit of the screen, but it is a machine gun, so that's just fine. Now, as of right now, the Hitman's right-handed animations have to be downloaded separately, but I am hoping that they will just be included in the full release of this mod, and I'm assuming they will be. Now then, let's check out firing and reloading. One thing I will say that I do enjoy is that JK Ruse has changed out the iron sights from the original New Vegas version. I don't know if you've used the New Vegas LMG, but it had some god-awful iron sights. Those things did kind of need an upgrade, and these are much better. Now then, I have here the drum mag. Let's check out the regular little Stanag mag. And I gotta say, those are pretty fitting as well. Kind of gives me a stoner type of vibe. Now then, let's talk attachments. As you can see, there are a handful of variants that you can modify this weapon to look like the classic New Vegas style. We have a bit more of a modern take, well, semi-modern at least, with a reflex sight and an extended Stanag mag. We have a polymer stock setup with a huge box magazine, thermal scope, as well as a crazy muzzle device and bipod, or you can go that junky Raider route. It's really up to you what you want to do, but the options are pretty nice. Let's go ahead and see exactly what we've got. Like I said earlier, this thing is always in a full auto, so the receivers are going to be as followed, with standard, armor piercing, rapid, hardened, hardened piercing, powerful, powerful rapid, and advanced. Advanced giving you the most damage, though powerful rapid is pretty nice with some pretty high damage and a much faster fire rate, so it's really up to you which you prefer in that regard. As for barrels, we have the short barrel, the long barrel, and those are your only two options, but definitely worth picking up that long barrel for the extended range. For the stocks, we have the junk stock made out of plywood and held together with bits of wire. We have the light stock, the wood stock, and the polymer stock. For magazines, we have the 30-round magazine, a 50-round magazine, a 90-round drum mag, and a 200-round drum mag, which is going to have a very lengthy reload. For sights, we have those standard iron sights, glow sights, reflex sight with a dot or circle, the short scope, short night vision scope, and short recon scope, the medium scope and medium night vision scope and medium recon scope, and then the long version of each of those scopes as well. For muzzles, we have the standard muzzle, which is nothing. Then we have the actual standard muzzle brake, my bad. The Bozar muzzle brake, which is a muzzle brake featured on the New Vegas Bozar, and the improved muzzle brake, which is this crazy conical shape here. Pretty interesting. Now, there is a noticeable lack of a suppressor. I'm curious if that is completely intentional or if it's just something that's not featured yet. So I guess we'll have to wait and see for the final release if we actually get a suppressor for this thing. And then finally, we have the bipod section where you can choose to have no bipod, the bipod up, or the bipod down. Pretty cool stuff, though these are completely cosmetic. And who would I be if we didn't test this thing out on some Deathclaws to see the damage of the weapon in action? We'll start off with a basic version of the weapon with its lowest possible damage, and then use an advanced receiver to check out its highest possible damage. And depending on how these two perform, I may have a third test of sorts. Let's start with the basic version and see how it does using those standard 30-round magazines with low damage. Even still, not too shabby. Taking us about 2 magazines or 60 rounds of 5.56. It probably could have been a little bit less, but I got a bit sloppy at the end there. Now, let's see how it does with a fully upgraded receiver and that 90-round drum mag, which my guess is going to be a bit unnecessary, but still a whole lot of fun. And that Deathclaw goes down in about 24 shots. Now, let's see how this thing does with a fully upgraded heavy weapons perk. And yes, this thing does scale with heavy weapons rather than commando, so that is pretty neat since this is a proper machine gun. Let's see how it does with some pretty insane damage. And in only 8 shots, that Deathclaw is down. So this is going to make an excellent late game weapon once it is fully upgraded and your character has all of the necessary damage perks. Pretty crazy. So yeah, guys, that is the New Vegas Light Machine Gun by JK Ruse 05. Again, an early access mod. This one is going to come out at some point in the future, but right now it is still in an early beta. But you can try it out. It is linked down in the description below. And again, just install it and set it up like I talked about in this video. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed this nice little look at an upcoming mod. If you did, don't forget to drop a rating, subscribe if you haven't already for more videos just like this one, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Big shout out to all of my patrons. If you're interested in something like that, you can check it out in the link down in the description below, but it is completely optional. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!